How many customers are your marketing campaigns really bringing in? Do you know how to calculate that? Imagine this. Every dollar you spend on advertising could be slipping through your fingers without a trace, leaving you clueless about the true effectiveness of your marketing strategies. That's a risk no business can afford in today's competitive landscape. One small weakness in your marketing strategy can be the difference between substantial gains and dramatic losses. I'm Matthew McNabb, president of Angel City Business Development, and we understand this critical balance. That's why we've built an ad spend and ROAS calculator, a tool designed not just as a gadget, but as your financial compass in the complex world of digital marketing. Our calculator is crafted to take the guesswork out of your marketing investments, offering clarity on where your money is going and how much you're truly earning back. Whether you're a startup or an established brand, knowing the real impact of your ad spend is essential. This tool is transformative, enabling you to unlock the secrets of your marketing spend, understand your return on ad spend, your ROAS, and redefine your advertising strategy with data-driven confidence. It's more than just a way to track your expenses. It's an avenue to invest smartly in your business growth. The best part? We're offering this comprehensive tool completely free, with no strings attached. You can access it by simply ordering a marketing success plan, which takes less than 2 minutes. No obligation to buy anything from us or hop on a call, just pure value at your fingertips. So, if you're ready to stop guessing and start making informed decisions, stay tuned. I'll be diving into exactly what our ad spend and ROAS calculator does, how to use it, and how it can revolutionize your approach to ad spending and transform your marketing ROI. Remember, in the world of business, knowledge isn't just power, it's profit. Welcome to the Ad Spend and ROAS Calculator tutorial. I'm Matthew. I'm going to walk through exactly what the Ad Spend and ROAS Calculator is, how it works, and how it can help your business. So the first thing, what exactly does the Ad Spend and ROAS Calculator help you to calculate? Well, it helps you to calculate how much ad spend you are going to have to expense in order to meet a particular revenue or sales goal that you input into the calculator. So the calculator takes in some metrics from your business, you input your goal, then it outputs a number of calculations based on your input. So let me show you exactly what the output looks like. This is the input section, and it goes all the way down to here. There's about a dozen or so different things that you are going to have to input into the calculator. And once you input those, then it is going to automatically calculate a number of metrics that you can use for your business. Some of the key calculations that it provides for you is your weighted CLV, which is your weighted customer lifetime value, and your weighted CLV per month. Now, what's the difference between a customer lifetime value and a weighted customer lifetime value? Typically, marketers will present this metric called the customer lifetime value, which is the amount of revenue that a single customer will generate for a particular business over the course of their entire lifetime. So if you have a dentistry practice, then a particular patient may only generate about $100 per visit, but over the course of 10 years, 2 visits a year, that's going to be 20 visits times $100. That's going to be $2,000, right? So the revenue that one customer generates for a business is going to be significantly greater than the one time that they come in because they happen to see an advertisement for your business. So customer lifetime value is very important for marketing and sales because it helps you to get a better idea of the long-term profit, the long-term revenue that you're making per generated customer. Now, weighted customer lifetime value is not the same as full customer lifetime value. See, we have two of these metrics here, and weighted customer lifetime value takes into account a few other variables that the full CLV doesn't, but both metrics are very beneficial for businesses to know. Next, we have your conversion rate, which is also known as your close rate or close percentage, the leads per one sale or conversion that you need to generate. So in other words, this is the number of leads that you need to generate for your business in order to get one sale. And that is very closely related to your conversion rate. Next, we have your cost per lead or prospect, as well as your cost per conversion or sale. Next, we have your estimated current monthly gross profit. So this is based on what you're currently doing right now. This is about how much you should be making in profit, and also your current estimated monthly net ROAS based on the campaigns that you're doing right now. And then here we just reiterate your goals once again. And then we have the number of leads that you will need in order to meet your goals. And down here we have the final calculations of your additional monthly ad spend that you will need in order to meet your goals, as well as your additional net profit. And then this checkbox we will go over in a little bit, but I just wanted to give you a brief overview of some of the metrics that this will calculate. And you can see how powerful this could be for knowing the effectiveness of your marketing and sales processes. All right, so back up at the top, let's go over with a specific example how to input your own business's financial and marketing data so that you can start using the calculator. Okay, and please also read the disclaimer here at the top, and there's another disclaimer at the bottom because that describes how the calculator is best used, as well as some of our limits of liability. Okay, so let's go over the inputs right now. The first question that we ask you is, what is your average gross reimbursement per sale? So let's say that you're an orthodontist practice and you do braces and you provide Invisalign for your patients. And let's just say that every sale you get about $5,000 in gross reimbursement. Okay. That doesn't include your expenses. That's simply what your customer pays you to provide them with your service or product. So for the orthodontist, on average, between braces and Invisalign and maybe some other services that they provide, it's going to be about $5,000. And it's perfectly okay to use estimates here. And maybe the first time that you use this calculator, you just want to kind of see how it works. So you can just put estimates here. And once you understand the power of this calculator, you might want to start refining some of your inputs so that you can get some more exact numbers on the back end. So the next question is, what is your average customer lifetime? Now, customer lifetime is related to CLV, which I talked about earlier, customer lifetime value. But the average customer lifetime is how long are customers continuing to pay for your products and services. That's different than how long are they continuing to use your products or services. If you sell a software and someone pays you one time for that for $500, they might use that software like Photoshop for the next 5 years. That doesn't mean that your customer lifetime is 5 years. It means that your customer lifetime is just that one time that they bought from you. Maybe they'll buy something else later. So if you're Adobe and you sold Photoshop to somebody for $500 and you want to upsell them 5 years later with another product, maybe you want them to use Lightroom or Adobe InDesign or something like that, then the customer lifetime is going to be extended because the customer will pay for a new product or a new service. So the customer lifetime should only encapsulate how long your customers, your clients, or your patients are paying you, not how long they're using your services. For the orthodontist practice, we are going to assume that patients will pay one time and that's it. And as you can see down here, we have a little note that says put 0 for one-time purchasers or payment plans only. So even though for the orthodontist, maybe the patient or the insurance gets put on a payment plan, that doesn't matter. We're going to treat those as one-time payments and we're going to put a 0 in for our orthodontal example. Okay, and here you can select years, months, and days, depending on your average customer lifetime. And here you put the actual value. All right, the next question is, what is the number of sales a customer will incur over their customer lifetime? So for the orthodontal practice, we're just going to put 1 because their patients probably only need to get braces one time. It could be the case that they have to come back and get braces again, but since the orthodontal practice typically deals with only one-time customers, they might want to treat that as 2 different patients. And you can also do that with this calculator. Once you get familiar with how it calculates things, you can start to intuitively change things in the calculator in order to get different metrics, in order to understand different things about your marketing, your operations, and your sales processes. So for our example, we're going to put 1 because typically orthodontists only have to give Invisalign or braces one time to their patients. If you happen to be a software company like Adobe, then maybe your customers will purchase 3 or 4 things from you over the course of their lifetime. Okay, let's do one more example just so that you can kind of understand how to use this a little bit more. Let's say that you put your clients on a retainer, and that monthly retainer is going to be $1,000 per month. Well, for your sale, your average reimbursement per sale, you're going to put $1,000 because that's how much they're paying you every single month. And what is your average customer lifetime? We're going to put 1 year because your average customer only spends 12 months with you, but you have them on a retainer. So they're continuing to pay you month after month after month. Well, in order to use this calculator, we're going to put 1 year as the average customer lifetime, or similarly, you could put 12 months, and that's the same exact thing. And then what is the number of sales a month will incur over their customer lifetime? Well, if they pay you every month, then that's simply going to be 12. And you can see your average monthly revenue here is 1,000 and your customer lifetime value is 12,000, which is that 1,000 times 12. And we have just these here just so you can check and make sure you understand how the calculator is actually making these calculations, because you might think, oh, what is the average gross reimbursement per sale? Well, that's $12,000 because I made $12,000 on that customer over the course of a year. And then the customer lifetime is 12 months and the number of sales is 12, which is one payment a month, well, that's going to give you a $12,000 average monthly revenue. Well, you know that's not true. So we put these here so you can understand what the calculator is actually doing and how you need to adjust these numbers so that you get accurate results at the bottom. So your average gross reimbursement per sale should be 1,000 with a 12-month customer lifetime and 12 payments made to you over the course of those 12 months. All right, so this next section, which is the blue section, is really to further refine this calculator. Maybe the first time you use this calculator, it's not really important for you to really get precise numbers, very refined calculations. And if that's the case, you can simply skip this blue section, and I'm going to skip it for now, and I'll come back to it later so that we can see what the calculations are a little bit more quickly. But know that this blue section here is only for businesses that put their customers on payment plans or have customers that only buy once from them. So depending on your business structure, your business model, you might want to look at this blue section a little bit more closely and include it in your calculations. But for now, we're going to skip it because we don't really care about that level of refinement of our calculations. But just to tell you what it does, this helps you to calculate what's called your weighted CLV. It's going to be a more refined customer lifetime value. So if our CLV is $12,000 a month, that does not include things like refunds, partial refunds, and cancellations. This blue section helps you to calculate what the impact of those cancellations, those refunds, and those partial refunds will be on your actual CLV, so that when we go through the rest of these calculations, they will use the weighted CLV rather than the full CLV, so that you can rest assured that this calculator is taking into account certain factors that may decrease your customer lifetime value. Okay, so we'll go over that in a few minutes, but for now, we're going to skip it. Okay, now let's input your current totals per month. Let's say right now you're spending $2,500 on ad spend, and that gets you 250 leads, and you close in your orthodontal practice 15 of those leads. Okay, now what is your revenue goal? You can put either a revenue goal or a conversions goal. The reason why you might want to put one over the other depends on your business structure and what's important to you. So let's say that you are more operationally driven than you are financially driven. What this means is that perhaps you have only a certain number of sales staff or fulfillment staff that can actually complete the orders that come in. So for an orthodontist practice, maybe you only have one orthodontist and they can only add an additional 25 patients per month. If that's the case, then maybe you should use conversions goal, because it doesn't make sense to use a revenue goal and try to guess how many conversions you can fulfill. Just put the conversions goal here of 25 additional sales every single month, and then we will convert that into a revenue goal, which is an additional $25,000 every month. Okay. But if you're more financially driven, then you can put a revenue goal here. Say, I want to increase my revenue by $50,000 every single month. And see, we get an error here because you're not supposed to put both of these. So we have to clear this cell out. And we can see how many conversions that converts to every single month. So if we want to add $50,000 every single month, then we need to get 50 conversions every single month. So let's keep the goals like this, where we want to increase our revenue by $50,000 every single month for a certain amount of time. That equates to 50 conversions. And let's see what our numbers come out to below. Okay, our average full CLV is going to be the same as our total weighted CLV because we did not do this blue section up here. And that's going to be $12,000. And then our average cancellation CLV, that's from the blue section, so that's going to be 0 right now. And our weighted CLV per month is simply going to be the CLV, which is 12,000. And remember, we put 1 year or 12 months for the average customer lifetime. So we have to divide our total CLV by the number of months in their lifetime, which happens to be 12. And that's why our weighted CLV per month per customer is going to be $1,000. So every new customer that you get, you can expect to get an additional $1,000 from that customer every single month over the course of their lifetime. All right, now your conversion rate is 6%. That's simply because you get 250 leads and you make 15 sales. So 15 divided by 250 is going to give you that 6%. And then this is the leads per one sale. You need to generate for yourself about 17 leads in order to get one sale. So this is just another way of saying this conversion rate. Your cost per lead is $10 and your cost per sale is $167. Now, your estimated current monthly gross profit, this is from your current numbers up here. You are currently spending $2,500 per month and you're making 15 sales. So if that means that's an extra $15,000 a month because you're making $1,000 per sale, then that's going to show up right here in your $15,000 of additional monthly gross profit every single month based on your ad spend of $2,500. And your estimated monthly net return on ad spend, your ROAS, is going to be that $1,500 gross profit minus whatever you're spending on ads. And that's going to be $12,500. So in this next section, we reiterate your goals in order to meet your goal of $50,000 additional gross revenue every single month, which equates to a goal of 50 additional sales or conversions per month. You need to get 833 leads every single month to close those 50 sales. And what that means is you need to add an additional $8,333 to your monthly ad spend. So you're already doing $2,500. You need an additional $8,333 to get that additional 833 leads that you need. And that kind of makes sense because here we calculated your cost per lead, which is $10. You need 833 leads, 833 times 10. That's going to be an additional $8,333 in order to meet your goals. And then your additional net profit is going to be that $50,000 minus your $8,333 here, and that's going to be your additional net profit. Okay, now let's say that instead of having a gross revenue goal, you actually wanted a net profit goal. Well, you can simply click this checkbox here, and that converts your gross revenue goal, which we said was $50,000, into a net revenue goal. Let's say you want to net $50,000. Well, you can just click that, and now we see these numbers change a little bit. Instead of 50 conversions per month, when we click this, it says see below, we need 60 additional conversions per month. And that means we need 1,000 leads in order to close the number of sales in order to get us $50,000 of net revenue. And that means we need to spend an additional $10,000 every single month to get our net revenue goal of $50,000. And we see that our net profit is now the same as our net revenue goal. Okay, that's how you use the calculator. I'm going to spend a couple more minutes on this blue section because it can be a little bit confusing. But if that's all that you wanted to listen to and you think, hey, this looks great, I think just that very basic explanation is good enough for me, then go ahead and order your marketing success plan and you can start using the ad spend ROAS calculator almost immediately. We'll give you access to that very soon after you order your marketing success plan. But for now, I'm going to go over the blue section very briefly in the context of our orthodontist example. Now, remember, this blue section is to refine our weighted CLV number. That's our customer lifetime value. Originally, when we don't fill out that blue section, our full CLV is going to be the same as our weighted CLV. But if we want to get really refined, precise numbers in this calculator, then we're going to have to fill out this blue section so that we can see how our weighted CLV changes. And when our weighted CLV changes, then this calculator is going to use this number rather than this number. All right, so let's start by answering some of these questions. Number one, we do not issue or offer refunds prorated or otherwise. If you answer true to that, then you're going to skip this whole blue section, and that means that we cannot refine your CLV anymore because you don't do anything to decrease your CLV. Your customers pay you, and you do not issue any sort of refunds for cancellations or anything like that. So that's not going to diminish your estimated gross reimbursement per sale, which means that your CLV is going to remain unaffected. But we're going to assume that no, actually this is false. We do offer refunds prorated or otherwise. Number two, we provide some form of prorated refunds for cancellations. Let's use the most complicated example. So I'm going to answer true for number two. We do offer some form of prorated refunds for cancelizations. Now, this section here is actually not going to be open originally. You have to click this little plus sign over here in order to open up these rows. It's typically going to look like this, but if you answer true to number two, then you're going to have to open up this section here and then input the percent of full payment you refund on average. So what this question asks is, what is the percent of full payment in cell C31, which this is C31, which is your customer lifetime value, do you refund on average? And you can see here we have a little description of what this means. This is the percent of your CLV that you refund on average. So if your CLV is $12,000 and you typically offer 50% refunds, or you typically give 50% refunds, then you're going to put 50 there. And you can see this description updates. This is the percent of your CLV, which is $12,000, and that is $6,000 average refund for cancellations. But if you give 25% refunds, then that's going to be a $3,000 average refund for cancellations. So let's keep it at 50. Let's say that when you do give refunds for cancelizations, or you do offer refunds, it's typically going to be 50%. This is an average. So maybe sometimes, and in some cases, you give 75% refunds. Sometimes you give 25% refunds. But you can either use your real numbers or your intuition to put a percentage in this cell. So I'm just going to estimate half of their CLV, which is $12,000, which means I'm giving a $6,000 refund on average. Okay. This next section here is the percent of customers who drop out or cancel during the term. So how many customers do not make it to their full customer lifetime? So if your full customer lifetime is 12 months, then how many customers as a percentage do not make it to those 12 months? And let's just say that's 5%. Let's say 95% of your customers will pay you their full customer value, and they will stay with you for the entire 12 months, but there's 5% that ends up canceling, okay? And then number 3 is simply you just want to put a typical gross receipts amount from your cancelizations. So let's say that it's the case that your customer lifetime value is typically $12,000, but for customers who drop out or cancel, perhaps they end up paying you on average only $7,500 of that $12,000. So effectively, that's a $4,500 refund. And you only use this number 3 if you want to manually enter in how much cancelizations typically pay you. But we're not going to put a manual number here. We're simply going to say false down here. And please also fill out these true and false, because these calculations down here actually read if you put true or false on these in these questions. They don't just read if there's numbers in here. You actually have to put true or false. Okay. So hopefully that blue section makes sense. Let's see how the numbers actually change. Okay, your total weighted CLV is $11,700, and you can see it's just a little beneath the $12,000. Why is that? Well, it's because 5% of your customers drop out or cancel. And when 5% of your customers drop out or cancel, you issue them a 50% refund, or they don't pay you the full $12,000, they only pay you $6,000. And with those two things combined, that means your weighted CLV drops from your full CLV $300. And that means your weighted CLV per month also drops down from, what was it before? It was $1,000 per month, your average revenue per month, and that drops down to $975 per month. Okay, hopefully that makes sense, but let's just do one more thing here. Let's just say that we say false for number 2, and we say true for number 3, and we actually want to use that $7,500 manually entered in gross receipts number. Now let's see how this changes things. Okay, your total weighted CLV is going to be $11,775, and that's because 5% of your customers drop out and pay you $7,500 total. Okay, and we actually don't need this section here because we only care about the total number or the percentage of customers that drop out and how much they pay you in order to get that weighted CLV number. All right, hopefully that whole blue section makes sense. Again, that's for if you really want to refine your CLV numbers here. And last thing before I go, if you haven't ordered a marketing success plan, I highly encourage you to order your MSP, because that can answer a lot of your questions for you. Plus, we give you a whole bunch of other goodies in your Google Drive, not just the ad spend ROAS calculator. Again, I'm Matthew McNabb with Angel City Business Development, and I can't wait to talk to you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.